Welcome back to another week of theater class. And today, you and I are going to be working on creating stories using our imagination. So remember last week we dealt with creating a beginning, a middle, and an end for our stories. So we're going to do the same thing this week, but it's going to be a story that we make up based off of a problem. And we're not using animals this time, we're going to use people. So go ahead and get your minds ready. You're going to have to come up with some events, and then we're going to act them out, and then we're going to write them. Cool? So it's going to look like this. You're going to get all these events together, write a sentence for one event, the beginning, the middle, and the end, and then you're going to write some lines that the characters would say for each event. That would be 3 sets of 2 lines, or 3 times 2. I wonder who can tell me what the product would be. Six lines. Wow! Mathematician, genius. So the scene that we're gonna start off with for the I do, so that you can know how to do it, is gonna be it's gonna be a scene where my little brother or my little sister takes my toy, and then I get into a fight with them because they took my stuff, and I get sent to my room. Now, in that problem, we see a lot of different events that happen. So what I'm just gonna do is write the events in the right order. So I'm gonna write that my little brother took my toy. That's gonna be the beginning. Then I'm gonna write that we get into a fight. That's gonna be the middle. And then I'm gonna write at the end that I get sent to my room. Now all I have to do is act it out and see how I would want it to go. And then I'm gonna write the lines that would go with that. So I'm gonna write a line for what I would say to my little brother. And then I'm gonna write the line for what my little brother is gonna say to me for that beginning part. Then I'm gonna go to the middle and do the same thing. And then I'm gonna go to the end and do the same thing. And I'm gonna make up my ending as I go along. So maybe it ends good and we both get taken out of our room and we can play again, or maybe it doesn't. We're gonna have to figure that out when we improv it, and then we'll write what we feel like the ending should be. So once you see me do it, then you'll know how to do it, and then you'll be a better writer than you were before. So let's get started. Alrighty, boys and girls. So here, I have written out all the things that are about my scene that I'm getting ready to act out. So I want you to do everything that I'm doing. So first I have my problem up at the top, and I put it to the side. My little brother took my toy. That's my big problem in this scene. So then I'm gonna write my events down, and I left some space in between here because when I finish acting, I'm gonna come back and write the lines that I said when I was improving. So this is gonna help me write out what I'm gonna do. Help me write my script, because now I know what the events are. So in the beginning, my brother takes my toy. Then in the middle, we get into a fight and we get sent to our rooms. And the ending, I haven't written that yet because I don't know how I want it to end. But when I'm improving it, I'm gonna make it up on the spot, and then I'm gonna come back and write it in the end, write it right here, and then write my lines to go with it. So let's go ahead and get started on improving each of these events. Then we're gonna come back and we're gonna write in what we improv. I'm glad that everybody's here. I wanted to actually meet today to talk about the fact that Monkey is always late to every single function. And I'm just trying to figure out like what's wrong with your watch that you keep showing up on Monkey People time. Why do you do this? This is a problem. This is getting in the way of like friendships and like work stuff. You almost got fired last week. Like, come on, bruh. Get your life.
Gracie,
Yes?
I need you to come here for a
Yes, no, I'm
second.
coming. Okay. Everybody stop fighting. Wait a minute. stuff. You're always doing stuff like that. I'm telling Mom. If you tell her, you're gonna get in trouble for tattletaling and for snatching stuff. You're mean.
Both of you are going to be in timeout. If you can share with your brother, you can get up. But we're not going to be stingy in this house. Brother.
What?
Here. You can have it.
I can? Thank you. So we said a lot more when we were pretending to do all these things in the story than what we're actually going to put in our script. And that's because we had to do all this acting so we could figure out exactly what we would say. Now that we've done this, we know what type of things our character would say, and we're going to choose the best possible sentence for our character to say that shows, oh, they're fighting, oh, he snatched that, oh, he went to go tell, they went to their rooms. We want to know all that stuff based off of what we
All right,
write.
now I'm ready to write my lines. So, in the beginning, my brother takes my toy. The first thing that we're going to see that we did in our improv was that I was playing with my own toys. So, me. And here I'm going to put a stage direction that just says playing with toys because I'm not necessarily saying anything until my mama calls me. And then for my actual line, it says mom calls. This is not part of the line. This is another stage direction, but I don't want to confuse these two, so I'm putting them in different ways. I don't want anybody to think that those are lines. So my first line will be, yes, ma'am, I'm coming. For this right here, I'm getting ready to write my brother's line. And I'm gonna put a stage direction right here because I want people to know what way he came into the room, because he didn't come in regular, he snuck in. He sneaks in. So even though the brother says lines right here, I'm actually gonna leave that open and just say that he makes the toys fight, because I want it to be up to you how that happens. So I'm not gonna say what you're gonna say, but you need to make the toys fight. So I'm gonna leave that right there. So he sneaks in and then he makes the toys fight. That can sound like however you make it sound. So for the next part, the middle, I wrote that I snatched the toy. It says snatches toy and it's in parentheses. Remember we talked about the curved lines right there? These are called parentheses, and one would be called a parenthesis. So this is sectioned off because this is not a line. This is not something that's said. This is a stage direction. So this tells us what the character should be doing. So I snatch the toy and then I say, stop touching my stuff, I'm telling. Now I'm gonna write my brother's line. Now here on my brother's line, I said, if you do, you're gonna get in trouble for tattling and snatching stuff. And then I'm throwing the toy. So actually I'm gonna put an exclamation point at the end, because exclamation point means that you're really, really excited or you're really, really feeling a strong emotion. Right now, I can tell the brother is mad. So I put that there because that's a strong emotion. And I put in parentheses again, the stage directions, throws toy, because this is not a line. This is just something that the character should be doing. Now we're at the end, so I'm going to write what happened in the end. And in the end, what happened? What did I do? Right. Even though I didn't know what I wanted to do in the beginning, when I did my improv, I thought of something that I wanted to do that would give a happy ending to the story. And so I decided to write it here. So it says, in the end, I gave my brother a toy he could play with and decided to share. Now, when it's your turn, you might have an ending that'd be different from mine, and I encourage that. Please, please, please come up with your own ending, something that might be different from what Miss Grace chooses to do, because we're here to be creative and to do new things and have different ideas. So for my line, I'm gonna hand him a bear, and I'm gonna say, here, you can play with this. So first I'm gonna write me, I'm gonna put a colon right there. Then I'm gonna write my stage direction because this one comes first. I hand him the bear, and then I tell him, you can play with this. And then my brother is gonna say, really? Thank you.
Now for our we do, you're gonna have another problem. Are you ready? So your problem is that you have this pack of cookies in your house, brand new pack of cookies, whatever your favorite is. Mine are gonna be Oreos in my imagination, but you can choose whatever you like. And you're not allowed to touch them at all. But you get kind of hungry and you start thinking about those cookies, and so you just sneak into the room or into the kitchen and you find those cookies and you eat those cookies. And don't just eat one or two, but you eat the whole pack. So they're all empty, and your dad comes home and he finds them. What are you gonna do? You get to decide what kind of ending you get. What's gonna be the solution to this problem? Are you gonna get in trouble? You're gonna apologize? What's gonna happen? And so you have to write your event, and you have to write your lines that go with your events. Does that make sense? Cool, let's try this out.
Our we do, I went ahead and wrote the same thing, and your paper should look like my paper. So at the top is the problem, and I wrote over to the side what it was. So the problem in this one is that we ate a pack of cookies that we were not allowed to eat. Now, all the events are down below. Notice that I left some space right here. There's 4 lines in between each of these so that we have room to write the lines after we have done our improv. So, in the beginning, Dad buys Oreos or whatever type of cookies you like. You can substitute whatever you want right there. Dad buys Oreos and tells me not to eat them. In the middle, I get hungry and accidentally eat all the cookies. Then Dad finds the empty pack. And at the end, I don't know what's gonna happen until I do my improv. And that's gonna tell me what I'm gonna put right here, what my lines are gonna be, and what the ending should be. So this is something that we're ready to act out now. And we're gonna come back and write our lines. Ready? Let's go.
Miss Grace does not actually have a pack of cookies at the house, so I'm gonna use this box instead. But we know that this represents cookies. So there's gonna be, now, for our events, we know that our dad is gonna come in, he's going to put a pack of cookies up in front of us and tell us we don't eat this at all. And we're gonna do good for a little while, but in the middle, we're gonna get a little hungry. We're gonna be like, well, I know he said don't eat any of them, but like if I just get 1 or 2, it's not gonna be bad. But you're not gonna eat 1 or 2, how many are you gonna eat? All of them. So when you realize that you've eaten all of them, you're gonna be like, and then you're gonna realize that you've eaten all of them, and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Your dad is gonna come and he's gonna be like, this whole box is empty. What happened? And you are gonna have to choose what the ending is gonna be like. Are you going to confess and apologize? Are you gonna make up an excuse or a story? What are you gonna do to end this problem? The problem is that you ate all this stuff and you weren't supposed to. So what do you do? That's gonna be up to you in your improv. So I'm gonna improv it too. We're gonna do it together. But I want you guys to be creative with how you come up with your solution. Don't necessarily do the same thing that I do. Find some other ways that you can end it. You can apologize, but you can also, try and make up a story. Like that kid from a couple of weeks ago made up a story about how aliens came into his room and like wrecked it. That wasn't the truth, but he made it up so that he might not get in trouble. So it's possible that you could do that or something else. But I want you to be creative with what you do. Cool? All right, I just bought a brand new pack of cookies. This is not to be opened until I tell you to open it. Leave it where it is. Don't touch it. Got that? Yes, sir. We're brothers. We're happy and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high five. Yes, awesome. You guys are cool. Okay, you guys. I know Dad said don't get it, but I'm a little hungry. What about you? Don't tell anybody.
Honey, I'm home. Where are you at? Hey, what you in here doing?
Nothing, Dad. Just been hanging out, playing with my toys, you know?
Well, what happened to the cookies? They were just here a second ago.
They're under the couch.
The cookies are under the couch. Why are they under the couch? What'd you do? And where are the rest of them? What'd you do?
I ate them all, Dad. I'm sorry. I was hungry and I couldn't stop eating them.
I'm disappointed.
I know.
Go ahead and go to your room. We'll talk about it later.
Yes, sir.
And leave those toys right where they're at.
So now that I've improv'd my story, I'm gonna go back and think about all the things that I said and all the things that I did, and I'm gonna put them in my lines. So for this story, there was a lot of things that I did that didn't have any words. So those things that I did when I was playing with the toys, and then my dad came and I hurried up and ate and I threw my stuff up under the chair, all that stuff is not gonna be lines, but it is gonna be stage directions. Those things are gonna be in something called parentheses, which is a little curved line here and a little curved line on the end, and you put words in between them that are not said, but they are seen. So I would put, I stuffed the food in my mouth and I hurry up and put it under the couch. All that would go in between my parentheses because that shows what I did, but there are no words for that part. But I want people to know this is what's supposed to happen in my story. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm gonna put those in my story, and then I'm going to write the lines that go with it whenever I start to say something. Let's get to writing. Remember, the things that I did in this video are just an example for you, but I want you to take what I did and I want you to get creative with it. So, for instance, we have an event that says, I get hungry, I eat all the cookies, and then my dad finds the empty pack. Well, in my story, my dad finds the empty pack because he asks about it and I tell him. But it could be that maybe you, in your story, you leave your pack somewhere out in the open and forget about it and you're playing, and then your dad finds it and says, where are all the cookies? That could be one way that that event happens. And it's not the same as mine, but it's the same event, you see? So what you do with all these events is completely up to you, but I give you permission, and I would prefer, which means that I really, really, really would like it most of all, if you would create your own way that this event could happen that's different from mine. So in the ending, my dad told me to put my toys down and go to my room, but yours might not end that way. You might actually apologize, or you might get on your knees and be like, please, Mom, no, please, Dad, please don't put me on punishment, don't send me to my room, I'm so sorry. There's a million things that you could do, but that's up to you. What do you think you would do? I'm hoping that when I get these scripts from you guys that I'll see a lot of different stuff, and it'll be exciting, and it'll be interesting and creative.
All right, so in this one, we know that the first person who speaks is who? Dad. So we're gonna put dad right here, put a colon, and we're gonna write what happens. Now, does he speak first or does he move first? Okay, so he's speaking, so there's no stage directions to write. Awesome. So dad says, here, I just bought this pack of cookies. Don't eat it. Then I'm gonna say, yes, sir. Oh, almost forgot. I have some stage directions because was I doing something in the improv? Yeah, I was. What was I doing? Right, so in that, I'm going to put in parentheses for my stage directions, I am going to put, what was I doing? Playing with my toys. So those are my stage directions. I was playing with my toys, and then I'm gonna say, what did I say after that? Yes, sir. Now here, in the middle, my dad is not really saying much until he finds me. So in the beginning of this event right here, I am talking to my my little toys. So I'm actually going to put in parentheses again because this is another stage direction to the toys, because this shows that I'm not talking to my dad. I want to make sure that people know I'm talking to my toys. And then I'm going to say, I know he said don't eat it, but I'm hungry. Don't tell anybody. All right, so the next thing that happens is dad says, what happened to the cookies? Now, in my ending, I decided that I was going to tell the truth and confess. But your ending may not be the same as mine, so I want you to write what your ending ends up being. Okay, so I wrote, in the end, I confessed that I ate the cookies and my dad sent me to my room. Now I'm ready to write my lines. So here I wrote my lines. I said, me. And then right here, I wrote some more stage directions because this is something I did, but I didn't say anything. So it says shows empty wrapper, and it's in parentheses. Then I said, under the couch, I ate them all. Then dad said, after I told you not to, go to your room and leave the toys. And then that's the end of my scene. Now, your scene does not have to look like my scene because we might have done different things. We should have the same events, but how you do the events is really up to you. So I'm excited to see what you do.
Guess what time it is? It's assignment time. It's time for you to do some work. Are you ready? Okay, cool. So your assignment for today is that you're gonna send me a copy of the script that you wrote. So on your script should be, please make sure you've got these things ready. You need all the events that happen, the beginning, the middle, and the end. You need a sentence for each one of those. So you can say in the beginning, blah, blah, blah. Then you can say in the middle, blah, blah, blah. Then you can say in the end, blah, blah, blah. In the end should be your solution. Make sure you got a solution at the end. Now, in between your events should be lines for each character. You should have a line for one character and a line for the second one. So 2 for the beginning, 2 for the middle, 2 for the end. You need 6 whole lines for all of the scene to show what you did in your scene. So I'm excited to see what you guys put together this week. And yeah, looking forward to it. Guess what? That's the end. That's all. That's it. Sorry, class is over, but I will be back in 2 whole days to teach you something else, brand new, something like this, but like not like this, like different and like exciting and like fresh. Oh my God. So until then, you have a good day today, and thank you for playing with me, and I will see you next time. Bye.